I guess maybe I didn't phrase my question.
Sorry.
Like, what has, because you obviously know how, when a person's at the right place to be able to tackle vision, you obviously know how to get them, like, to use their vision to drive towards it, even in an even better way. I think it's a matter of, like, for these other folks, is it that they haven't been at the right place and I don't know how to start with them, or like maybe I don't know how to connect with what they really need to start with to ultimately getting them.
I think for some it's both. I think
place.
some it's both. Like certain people like Chelsea and Kay and Isabel came to the Revisit the Big Goal session, and like we had really honest conversations about like why it's important to go back to their vision and like why they hadn't. And like now they like have little next steps to start putting things into place. I don't think some of their visions are transformative, but it's a start, right? I think part of it is not knowing the entry point because of the other things that are, like if you're really struggling with management and you're crying about it, it's taking over your life and you're not sleeping, I can't get you to that place unless you are breathing and you're okay. And yes, I'm a firm believer that like your vision is your management. Like if you want your kids to have self-control, be independent, be critical thinkers, that's the language you use in your classroom. When kids are doing that, it's a positive consequence. When kids are not, it's a reminder. And yes, maybe you have a system. Like that's like Mary Grace. Like, oh, this person is showing self-control right now because they're sitting crisscross applesauce. It's part of the language. So part of it is like, I would love to do them at the same time because I deeply believe that if you have a strong vision, that's you're gonna run your management. But I need to go in with what makes sense for that core. I need to meet the core member where they are sometimes. And I think for some of them, the problem is I want to meet them where they are and feel like I'm supporting them. They're supporting so that when they're ready, we're going to come now and say, great, now we're going to connect this to your vision, or I see this in your vision. Let's make a strategy that you're going to implement tomorrow in your classroom to make that happen.
And do you feel like you know how to meet them where they are? So like for the folks that, because I mean, I bet if we were to go through a lot of these people, maybe we would probably find, you know, like so I'm thinking about like, you know, Jack, Kay, Dana, Jackie, Julia, Chelsea,
Gabe's like, on the border because Gabe never wrote a vision in the beginning really. It was very, because he like still didn't understand what it was, and now he like has expressed what he wants for his kids and it's very aligned to his school's mission, and he's driving towards that but not all the pieces of that. So like to me he's like a borderline, like I want to kind of document his vision a little more and like flesh it out with him. But like but I think he's in a different bucket. He's invested like, because him and I talk about the idea of having his vision. So like to me he's like in between. But I know that I could talk about it with him and it's gonna be exciting for him and not overwhelming. And to me that's the difference of how I know if I'm meeting a core member where they are. Yeah. I know it sounds like kind of like a loose definition, but like I could say to Gabe, even though he's stressed out about making a unit plan, and he just, you know, has only been teaching English reading for a couple weeks, and we started hearing it because like there's other things happening. I could say to him like, oh, like I saw since you want dual language as part of your vision, like you're doing X, Y, or Z to get your kids to think that way. But that's also the mission of his school. But that's why he's there, and that's why he wanted them to. He talks about how his vision needs to connect to the vision of his school because there's a strong vision of his school. But like he doesn't crack when we talk about it. It's inspiring to him. It's not daunting. And I think for the other ones, the cusp is like, is it daunting or inspiring? And like
for the folks where, and so like for the folks like where we've had more success with like the Gabes or the Roberts or whoever's like where they weren't as overwhelmed at the moment. Like, do you feel like you know how to help a person get through this overwhelm phase to get to this? Like, I know how to help you with your vision. I know how to get your vision to be an integral part of what you're doing.
I think yes and no. I think there's certain people I'm going to start going in now more with their vision, like Isabel, who we started off with like kind of like the big goal part of her vision, the academic piece, and she has this big wall tracker and is driving towards it. And like when I was in there, I could see like all the things being tracked and driving towards it. And I see parts. I think Isabel's also borderline. I see parts of the things that she wanted, like independence. And I saw kids doing independent practice without her. Like, I forgot some of the other traits, but like, I think one of it was the way we treat other people. And like I told you, when the announcements came on, there wasn't even a voice. When someone came into our room, it was welcome to our class. So like, there's little, it's like, they're not huge, but they're like half of seeds, you know? And so like, I think she's someone that if I could, because again, but the vision inspires her. And I know, even though she's been sick, and even though it's that, like, that's why she's here, that like, every conversation her and I have does go back to vision.
If you had to sort of pull out like these are the people that I think that are ready to move forward, and I can actually, they're ready right now for me to be getting them more along the path of being vision driven, like getting them to the place where I am able to say sooner rather than later, yeah, this core member is driving towards a goal that is going to be truly transformative for kids, or like this core member is on the path towards a meaningful destination. First, does that division match the people that you're tracking right now in your round one plan, like the people that you prioritized?
Yes, I know there's some people I prioritize for next week that I'm trying to finish getting progress noted and get it ready to even then begin this next semester.
Get on that. Okay. And do you feel like you know the path that you're taking for these folks who are prioritized? Like, so like I'm looking at the Edward, the Christine, the Twana, the Quinn, like the Sinead, the Tamara, like the folks who are.
Tamara. I do that to you every time.
That's okay. The folks who are like, and these are 09s, but like these are probably 09s who are also in the bucket of, they're at the place where they're not like an overwhelmed group, and you actually can help them.
Quinn is a little, I can't get Quinn there until she's starting to plan the right way and think about her work the right way, because she does get very she's in a place of like, she's apologizing, I'm sorry I didn't track, I've been working till 9 o'clock and then I go to bed, and I think she's slightly overwhelmed without saying it, but she doesn't think her class is rigorous enough and wants the rigor, so like, I think she has like little bits in her mind of like her vision, but it's like, I'm not ready to bring it back in until probably right before winter break, because she's not ready.
And for your 2010, so like I'm looking at the folks that you
want. So like people I think are ready now are Isabel, who I'm meeting with on Sunday, Gabe, Chelsea. I'm pushing Chelsea to be ready. Chelsea will do anything I think is right. So Kia is a star, like maybe not next week, but like right around Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving, because she's been part of the hurdle for her this week is she went home sick, or she didn't go. She was sick. She had a fever and had some stomach problems. But
Kia is at what school?
Tara. Yeah, and her placement changed again, and it keeps changing, so it's been really hard for her. So like we're at the point of like she's diagnosing kids that she just got, and she's gonna do a mid-year or November for the kids that she. So like bits and pieces. She's kind of like a Gabe, like it's halfway there. Like on her wall, if you go in, it's like we are gonna be lit superheroes, language superheroes, and it has like the 3 or 4 characteristics, but she doesn't use it. And so it's like she wants to, but she doesn't know how to infuse it. And
so the folks that you named for me, and you might add some more folks just listen just a second, but like some of the folks that you named thus far, Isabel, Gabe, Chelsea, Kia, like these are folks who you're categorizing as
possibly Julia. Sorry.
Okay, these are folks that you're categorizing as like they're not so overwhelmed that if I start with very meaningful, bigger steps, such as like if I start beyond the management level with them, they are actually going to be ready to take on pieces of either rigor or pieces of getting progress known if they're not progress known, or pieces of, you know, increasing mastery, or pieces of whatever other like teacher actions need to happen that's going to make me believe that ultimately this person is more along a path of, you know, heading towards a meaningful destination than they were before, versus some of the names that we pulled out a second ago, like Dana, Kay, Jackie, like these are folks that I need to do some things with them right now, but these are not people that I would prioritize getting them more along the path.
And Kendra doesn't even have a vision, so like I can't.
And it's, do you feel like you know the distinction in your mind clearly of who these people are and who's not?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then my next question then is, for those folks who are ready, do you, like, for the folks like the Isabel, the Gabe, the Chelsea, the Kia, like even you mentioned Julia, but Julia early put in this management bucket. Like, do we really feel like Julia's ready?
Yes, because